Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Descent into Madness podcast, where three bumbling idiots sit here and talk in a Discord call, and one really likes cheese.
We're sorry.
What?
Yeah, what?
It's a reference to the BP oil spill thing from South Park, where he's going through a commercial and he's just, we're sorry.
Why do you just always have these totally minute references from South Park?
I don't know.
No one else is obsessed with South Park as you are.
And
No.
the fact that it was 2 words, so it's hardly a
Well,
reference.
it's like 2 words.
It was an apology.
Yeah.
It's like, you know how many companies say we're sorry?
Yeah. You know what I'm not sorry about? Is this fun cheese fact today.
Well, there it is.
Brought to you by me, because we're not sponsored yet. Did you know that Swiss Emmentaler cheese is not the most sold cheese in Switzerland? Instead, it is Gruyere cheese, which is the most purchased cheese in all of Switzerland.
Interesting.
Interesting.
That's
Yeah.
2 weeks in a row about something about Swiss cheese.
I know, there's a lot to learn about Swiss cheese.
There's a lot to learn about Swiss cheese.
Why do you think
There
there's
is.
so much to learn about just the Swiss cheese?
Why? Because all cheeses are interesting. But I mean, like, last week's fact was that, Swiss cheese was the largest cheese in the world. And this time, it's about how it's not even the most sold cheese in its own country. After all, Switzerland produces a lot of cheese.
Nice. Well, speaking of cheese, I see you put in here Chuck E. Cheese. Why did you
Yeah,
put that
Chuck
in
E.
here?
Cheese. So, Chuck E. Cheese is one of those companies that we've seen die off in a lot of the recent years. And I wanted to talk about how a lot of
still
the store
around, aren't
brands. Yeah, there's a few. I mean, we still have ours, thank God. But
What do you frequently peruse?
Yeah.
I was about to say, what do you mean, thank God? Didn't a lady, shoot another lady in our Chuck E. Cheese?
It wouldn't shock
she
me.
did, and it's still standing. But
Chucky won.
we also lost our Toys R Us though. So I mean,
Well, that was
we've
everyone.
I know, and I'm sad to see it go, and I was surprised to see it go because, out of all the places to buy toys, Toys R Us was the absolute greatest. Like, you don't go to Walmart to buy your toys.
I don't know. It was all good until Amazon.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm mostly upset that we've seen Toys R Us go away because Toys R Us is the best place to buy Legos.
See, I always liked Mega Bloks as opposed to Legos because I like the Halo sets, and those were only sold in Walmarts and Targets.
I know, but you also used to eat Play-Doh.
They always didn't connect as well as Legos. Legos were the premier building block toy.
No, they were, but for actual sets for to play with, Mega Bloks. To build buildings and structures with, Legos.
I don't know, because Mega Bloks always, they had issues sticking together.
Yeah, and that's why you always got the sets you with the Halo Warhogs and stuff. It was all perfect there. But then if you tried to get Mega Bloks brand anything else that wasn't a specifically made set, it was just kind of a piece of shit. And that's when you
I
made
only ever
Lego.
bought them for the Halo things, and I still had the Halo ones come apart just kind of whenever they wanted to.
That's because you're shit. If you
You
were
stick
good like
2
me.
fucking bricks together, excuse me.
And you fucked that up still.
Yeah, well, see, here's the thing
I
though: is
did not.
Lego
the
bricks,
company fucked it up.
Lego bricks stick together too well sometimes.
Dude,
That's
those
why-
slab pieces that
Yeah,
just
that's why any Lego pieces you find will either have bite marks or scratch marks from nails.
Well, the Lego Master Builders in Legolands have a special tool to get those pried off of bricks.
Hey, did you also know you get those in every single set you buy?
Oh,
Just about.
I haven't
I've got,
bought
like,
an
a
actual
couple of
Lego set in years.
I've been thinking about buying like a Lego Death Star or something just to flex.
So you sent me that one Horizon Zero Dawn, the tall neck, and it comes out in May, and I'm thinking I might have to cop.
I think you will.
I think I will too.
Tall boy.
Yeah, I've sent you some other stuff since then.
I know. I'm aware.
Quite a few things. But the other thing I sent was Hank the Tank, that bear in California.
What was that about? I didn't read any of that.
So the whole thing with that is in California, there's a bear that decided, like, it's figured out that homes are just a free source of food and that a measly door can't stop it. And so this bear has been breaking into houses and stealing all of their food and, like, trash. And he's become so big. Like, I think the average height for, like, a black bear was 300 pounds, and he's, like, estimated at 500. That he has just garnered the nickname Hank the Tank. And he is not afraid of police anymore. They've been shooting him with rubber bullets, and it doesn't stop him.
He's not afraid
like,
of police.
Yeah, no. So he's been breaking into homes, and one of the people that they had interviewed in that article I posted was a guy quoted saying, "I used to never lock my door until after that bear broke into my house." Like, I mean, imagine you're sitting there.
It's all fun and games until the bear gets a taste of human flesh.
Yeah.
And then starts breaking into homes to eat people.
But I mean, look at him. He's so pretty. And there's a bunch of activist groups that are trying to say, no, don't kill him, put him in a sanctuary. And quite frankly, I
You're
agree.
going to have to find a sanctuary big enough for him.
Yeah. You remember Cheeseburger from Far Cry? It's essentially Hank the Tank. Except without the diabetes.
What was Cheeseburger?
Cheeseburger? So in the Far Cry, I think it was 5, Far Cry 5.
Oh, I only played like an hour of it and got bored. Not a huge fan of the Far Cry games.
One of the companions was a grizzly bear named Cheeseburger because the locals kept giving him cheeseburgers, and then he eventually got diabetes. And so you had this companion
like
grizzly bear.
Mascot was Cheeseburger the grizzly bear.
So you would just send him like fucking Cheeseburger was his name. Greatest companion ever.
Speaking of games, it's been a expensive week for most people. I got off pretty scot-free. But, like, we had last Friday, a week from exactly last week, Horizon Forbidden West came out, which has been awesome. And then Tuesday, we had Destiny Witch Queen. And then today, we have Elden Ring. So, I mean, so far, we've been getting some pretty solid games. And I'm super happy that we are getting some decent fucking games.
It's a good change from what we had with Battlefield and Call of Duty.
Basically from what we've had for like the last year.
Yeah.
Right.
Like we had the one other half decent game that actually came out and was a decently named title was probably Rainbow's Outbreak. But that one just, we played it and had a lot of fun. Chris and I and our friend Brady played it and had a lot of fun that first night, but none of us have ever gone back to it and have no desire to. I uninstalled it. I mean, it was just like, it was fun, but it really is kind of like you play one mission, you've seen it all, and I don't think because it was the exact same operators and everything, there was enough changed in it to really make you keep wanting to play. So that was kind of a mediocre tier game. You know, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't like Game of the Year Awesome Edition. But so far, 2022 is coming out with some absolute bangers. I haven't played it. I know Chris has, and Michael, you're still waiting on it. But I heard Dying Light 2 is being received very well.
I had a blast with that game so far.
Yeah. I mean, because I was a big fan of the original Dying Light. But I mean, ever since what I would say the dark ages of game releases with Fallout 76, Anthem.
It pretty much was right after Fallout 76 was that. Yeah. I think it showed because the issue is a whole bunch of people that buy the games anyway and give them the No Man's Sky excuse, because No Man's Sky came out and was an absolute shit show, and then the developer actually like kept with it. And what made No Man's Sky so impressive was that it's a indie dev, that they were able to pull it back because they're an indie dev, not a AAA. And then, you know, AAA, like Fallout 76 came out, and even though that was the biggest piece of shit game, and even though it's still pretty broken to this day and they're no longer working on it, people still bought it in droves, and it sold.
I know they're still working on Fallout 76.
They're doing barely any. They're not doing any development. They're doing just fixes, and that's it.
Yeah,
it's they moved all the
just recently, only a few months ago.
I heard that
there was new content.
I'm talking like last I heard this was like a month ago.
Oh, yeah.
It's I heard that they moved all main stage developers on Elder Scrolls 6.
Thank goodness. I mean,
I don't know. I feel like that game's probably going to come out like ass. Skyrim was mediocrely reviewed when it came out, and they have not really, besides Doom, but I'm talking like Bethesda itself, not the Bethesda but the publisher, but Bethesda themselves has not really come out with a good game since. You can kind of argue Fallout 4, but Fallout 4 was, even for most Fallout fans, meh. Like, not as good as the older ones, but it wasn't awful.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never got too into the Fallout games. So, I played the most Fallout 4 just because from not being a fan of the games in the first place, it's really hard for me to play the originals, and because they're pretty dated at this point, and go back to them. But, yeah, I got probably like 10 hours in Fallout 4. And it's an alright game. It's not awesome, but it's alright.
Definitely do be a game.
But yeah, we've had a pretty decent year so far. I've been really enjoying Horizon Forbidden West, and Witch Queen so far is pretty decent. It's not horrible by any means. I was telling Chris earlier, like, I'm definitely more impressed with it than what my expectations were, but I'm still a little meh about it because at the end of the day, we're just fighting the Hive again. It is just a fighting the same enemy DLC, you know, like it always has been. I would like to see a new enemy type that isn't based off anything else. Like, you know, the Scorn came out, but that's just a reworked version of the Fallen. Like, before I knew any better, when I got back into the game almost a year ago now, playing with you, Michael, I didn't know that wasn't the Fallen. I thought that was new Fallen species. I thought, you know, but it turned out it was a different species.
No, because they are Fallen. They were just Fallen that were, and I guess we should give some context. The Fallen are an enemy in Destiny.
I'm pretty sure everybody knows at this point. We don't have to totally explain Destiny. Destiny's been out since 2014.
That's all I'm going to really say for that. But the Scorn were just Fallen that were like in the Prison of Elders that banded together and found a way to get a dark, corrupted version of the light.
All right, but still my point is that they haven't really introduced an actually new enemy since the first game came out. There hasn't been a properly new enemy, like enemy type. It's all been based off a whole nother species, or is basically the same species, but it's a different clan of it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's all right. The story was decent. I know you haven't beat the last mission yet, but I'm sure you can guess what's going to happen because it pretty much goes exactly how you think it would. Mm-hmm. Very reminiscent of Oryx, in my opinion, of basically the whole campaign, the Taken King. But it wasn't bad. I'm enjoying it, playing it again. This is the first actual time I am playing a season/expansion on day one and playing everything as it's coming out.
It's a good feeling to get back into, in my opinion.
Yeah, I really got burnt out of it for a while, but we just got to that point where we were just grinding raids and shit for certain very specific type of roles at that point. And, you know, that was beyond what I wanted to do. You know,
Yeah.
I was happy with the weapon itself. I miss the original Destiny where the special weapons, like the raid weapons, didn't have to roll for perks, where like the weapons were the weapons. I don't know. I can go on a whole rant and why, personally, in general, I think Destiny 1 is a better game than Destiny 2, but Destiny 2 is pretty good.
My the only thing that I and it was kind of what killed me in Destiny 2 before I came back into it was the seasons. At first, I saw it as just a cheap money grab where they added a few things, but now I realize I've realized why they do. It's a content drip so that they can work on the next big DLC, which I actually like because I remember back when Taken King came out, I played Taken King and it was just the same thing. I'd do the raid, I'd do the strikes, I'd do the raid, I'd do the strikes, up until Wrath of the Machine came out, or Rise of Iron came out. That Wrath of the Machine was the raid, but. That's one thing I have to say Destiny 2 does a lot better than Destiny 1, is that content drip. Although, I do like a lot of the Destiny 1 stuff better. I think they're trying to get more into it with the class customization now, but I think D1 honestly had it pretty perfect.
Yeah, honestly, the original tree was just way better.
Yeah.
I don't know why they changed it.
Strike-specific loot I will always miss. That actually gave strikes meaning. Strikes are pretty worthless now.
I miss exotics being exotic.
I agree with you on that one,
like,
too.
Not just in the sense of that some of them have meh exotic perks. I'm talking in the sense that, like, especially when I played Destiny 1 the most, there was, I mean, you had exotic bounties, but those are still 1 in, like, 100 chance to drop. But it's like an exotic was an exotic drop, and it was insane watching it. But now every good weapon is done by a quest that takes an hour or two. Like, I got that parasite in 2 hours. It did not take me long. It was very quick. And it could have been a lot quicker if I didn't have to go and drop for a reason. I can't really say on the podcast just in case. But
yeah.
But like, you know, and supposedly it's a really good weapon. I enjoyed it, but there's honestly no pride in having one. I remember being in an LFG group in D1 and everyone's jaw dropping when I showed up with a Gallahorn. And everyone's like, what the fuck? How did you get that? That's amazing. And then, I mean, you don't have that in this game because everyone has it that wants it. And everyone wants it, so everyone's going to have it. So there's none of that, I don't know how to explain it. The exoticness of seeing an exotic. Where, I mean, yeah, after you get to a certain point, how many exotics were in D1, you were going to have a exotic, especially once you hit probably level 20, and then once you got into like your light upgrades, you were going to have an exotic at some point. But it felt more exotic because you never knew what you were going to get. The only guarantee was Xur, and you never knew what Xur was going to have.
Yeah, because that's something I've been complaining about with Destiny 2 for a long time, and I get that it's more so that they don't discourage a lot of people, but it really does ruin exotics. I mean,
some people prefer it.
I remember just sitting there turning in bounties every day, and I finally grabbed my Thorn bounty. I was so happy.
Because they were daily bounties back then, weren't they? They weren't weekly?
They were, yeah.
So, yeah, because I remember I would do 5 Vanguard and 5 Crucible and turn in 10 at a time for the whole day. And because that was supposedly, because, you know, you see it drop for one guy, and that does that one thing, and that's the way you try it. And I had one drop for me. I actually got every exotic bounty gun except for the LMG. I don't remember what the LMG was called.
Super good advice.
Yeah, super good advice. That was the only gun I never got because by the time I could have tried to get it, but I just didn't play anymore. But I remember I got my first exotic bounty when I had all 10 of my bounties full and everything, 5 Vanguard, 5 Crucible, turned them all in at once, and it dropped. And I thought that was like, oh, you have to hit some sort of threshold, or it's like an XP amount that you need, and you turn them all in at the time. So I would hold on to all my bounties until I completed all of them. And it happens to you that one time, and that's how you did it.
Yeah. And that was always how it was. And even like in zombies, I remember you telling me you would knife all the windows out to get yourself a ray gun.
Oh, there was tons of those things back in the day. Like World at War, there used to be a little helmet that it was just like a scatter piece, would sit right in front of the mystery box, and you would have to hit the mystery box, go crouch in the corner and shoot the helmet and go prone 3 times. And that would give you the ray gun every time. And if you fucked it up, it'd give you the flamethrower. There's tons of little things like that where it's just that one time, one person that just happens to do this sequence of events, and that happens, and you're like, holy shit, this is the move. Like, I mean, it was stuff like that, and that honestly was what brought the wonder to the game and that mystery. I remember watching tons of videos of how to get exotic drops and how to get this, and they basically, and what it all, it was the how to get so-and-so exotic was basically a clickbait title, but then they would always break down the chances of it being dropped, how the system worked, and it was all theorized. No one knew exactly. Bungie kept that pretty secret about its stuff's drop rates and such. But after pretty much the Taken King came out and they started doing actual exotic quests, and with Destiny 2, they are full bore exotic quests. Like, I don't even know, besides older exotics and armor pieces, any exotics that really drop in the wild anymore, unless they're older and like purchasable through anything else. Like, I got a Monte Carlo doing the raid, but that was already an older one.
See, because one of the things I also miss about how hard exotics were to get was with the original Outbreak Prime. That thing, just to find it, people didn't know the quest was there. There was nothing telling you, hey, you should find this. No, we had to find out just by guessing. And one of the things you had to know was you had to know fucking binary just to get this code. And you had to go through the entire raid just to get the quest. Then you had to go back through the entire raid and do more stuff just to get the gun. And I miss that. It was difficult, but it was fun. It was worthwhile, and it made you feel like you earned your exotic.
Makes me wonder if we were too hard on Bungie in the first year. I mean, yeah, they really... they definitely deserved some shit that first year it came out, and I think the issue with they did so many wrongs that all their rights got way overshadowed the first year in 2014 of, when the game came out and you had very little content in it, to be honest. I mean, no one, as much as I played it all the time, but even I can't deny, I mean, I would literally just sit down and you're like, you know what, today I'm going to make a new, especially before the DLC came out, I'm going to make a new Destiny character and I'm going to beat the story today. I mean, you'd be done in 3-4 hours.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it just did not take long. There was not a lot to it. And I think possibly the community, which they should have been hard on them, but I think Bungie took it in the wrong way, personally, that they basically completely overhauled everything for D2. Well, not even that. Like, D2 2017 at release is a totally different game than what it is now.
Oh, definitely was.
Like, I beat the campaign in D2, and honestly, like, I was just not excited for D2, to be honest, and I had no one to play it with, and that, especially when the game came out, it was basically you had nothing if you didn't have a full stack party all the time. Yeah, and I had no one to play with.
Because the only thing that was really worth doing in original D2 was the Callus raid. Which, quite frankly, I missed that raid. I enjoyed
I
it.
never played it.
I just enjoyed the encounters. I enjoyed how it functioned because it was a new experience. But the problem was, as soon as we found the underbelly, everyone would just skip straight to Callus and fight that, and it's kind of boring.
Yeah, I mean they're doing a whole bunch like the Wish Ender well or whatever it's called, has a skip in it. Like they keep adding these skips. Like they don't want you to play the full game.
Yeah, because what's the point in making all this content if you know your player base is just going to skip it anyways?
Because I mean they know they put all the loot that everybody wants, right at the end. Like, to be honest with you, like, I don't have a Vex Mythoclast yet, so if I had the choice to just jump into Vault of Glass and go straight to Atheon, I would all day, every day. I have everything else.
Yeah, well, especially since you got your Fatebringer.
Yeah, I have everything else that I want. I basically am calling my collection complete because my main is my Warlock. The only thing, I don't have all the armor pieces. I have most of the armor pieces for the Hunter, and I have, like, one armor piece for the Titan. Otherwise, I have every weapon except for Vex Mythoclast. So it's like if I could skip straight to Atheon every time, I would go right there. But you can't. And not that I'm saying I have a problem with it. Like I like playing the whole raid. It does give you some sense of accomplishment to be able to do the whole thing and see how efficient you can get it. But at the same time, I understand, like, what I'm saying is I don't blame the players for skipping if the option is there, because I would do it if the option was there.
They spaced the loot out better. I don't think there would be a reason to skip as much. And quite frankly, since I was bigger into D1 than I was into D2, I always feel the best way to do a raid is through from the beginning to the end, as complete as can be. Although with Last Wish raid, we were talking about doing that, and I just wanted to do the Riven fight. But I mean, it was a raid that I really didn't have any interest in, apart from the Riven fight. So,
I mean, well, we all wanted to do it because everyone else hasn't done any other raid except for Vault of Glass.
Yeah.
No one else in our group has done any raid because this is the first time anyone in our friend group, except for Chris, I think you've had the friend group to do it. I don't know about you actually, but I know for sure everyone else in our group that plays never had enough people to do a raid.
The only time I did was back in D1, but that was probably the strongest time for clans because
that was the strongest time for LFG. Because that was real LFG.
That
wasn't, these half-ass discords and, some of the weird Bungie fire team finder thing that they do.
Oh, yeah, matchmaking beta.
It's worse than original LFG, and you have to have max Gallhorn, max light.
Yeah, I remember there were people that were sitting there and saying, "Oh, you don't know anything. You're just a hunter main." And I'd sit there and solo an entire encounter while the rest of my team is dead. And then afterwards, they'd sit there and I would ask them, "Are you still gonna talk shit to me?" I mean, that's where I've developed my skills, and you guys have seen my skills, where I'll just sit there and hold my own until I can get you guys. And quite frankly, I miss doing that.
What? Being the most powerful because you played the most?
Yeah.
You do know that the half the time because we died is because we were about 50 levels behind you because we didn't play 24/7.
Yeah, because you guys aren't good.
No, it's because we can't stand sitting there grinding out bullshit.
I'm sorry, I'm just better than you.
All right, sure. Sure, buddy.
Okay, let's go to the Crucible.
All right, you can't use Silence and Squall.
That's fine, I never do.
Or Shatter Dive.
That's also part of Silence and Squall. Who said I was going to use Stasis?
Dude, I'll put a fucking comedian up your rear.
Oh, You're comedian against my found verdict. I'd like to see you try.
It'd be easy. Comedian would win all day.
No, it wouldn't.
Yes, it would.
I'm sorry to say, but the comedian ain't got shit on my found verdict.
I have the same found verdict.
Do you?
Yes.
Slide shot with opening shot, max range.
Yes.
Not max range, but I'd like to
With
see
range
it.
masterwork.
I doubt you have that. Fool.
I do.
Regardless, the skill gap between us is too great. After all, I have the power of cheese on my side.
See, you say that, but every time we play Crucible, when we've played together, there is more times than not where I end up on the top of the board.
We'll have to play some more Crucible later. But,
No, because that sounds like hell. Because Crucible sucks dick.
damn. Well, come talk to me when you've gone flawless in trials.
Yeah, because that's a brag.
Have you gone flawless in trials?
I've only played Trials once in my life, and it was the worst experience of my life. It was nothing but lag switchers and fucking using meta weapons.
Yep.
It wasn't a test of skill. It was a test of your RNG. That was it.
No, back in D1 I beat lag switchers.
No, back in D1 I beat lag switchers.
It was not fun. But you'd spend your entire Friday night resetting your tokens and just grinding out as hard as you could.
I never had a team. I honestly, I got an Xbox One before any of my friends, and they were all still on 360. So I literally had no one to play with all of Destiny until that summer, and when me and my older brother played, because he would stay up till like 4 a.m. and I didn't have school. So that was the only time I ever got to play any of the raids or anything like that. Otherwise, I played all of when the game came out until that summer completely solo, because I didn't have anyone else to play with. So yeah, that's Destiny, I guess.
The good old days and the not so good old days.
Yeah, it's a love-hate relationship. I do think I would go back if they would bring Destiny 1 to PC. I'd play that all day.
Yep.
Over.
Yeah.
I know our friend Brady's talked about picking up Destiny, like the Legendary Edition for Xbox, because he knows, like, if it's like we've all really kind of teased at it, like, oh yeah, I wouldn't mind going back to D1, but all of our characters are, like, everyone that's in the group has already played Xbox, and that's where their characters are, as opposed to him, where he was a PlayStation fanboy because he's a penis. And I get to talk all this shit because I know he's going to listen. So yeah, Brady, you're a penis.
When are they going to bring back
Crota?
Oh, I can't think of its name now. It's no Thousand Year Stare. That's back. That's a legendary sniper. No Land Beyond. When are they going to bring back No Land Beyond? I want it back.
I feel like they kind of I kind of forgot what No Land Beyond was, but honestly, I feel like Dead Man's Tale is supposed to be its replacement of that rustic, old school type of lever action. You know, whereas No Land Beyond was a bolt action. I feel like Dead Man's Tale is supposed to be that void to fill. I really don't understand why No Land Beyond even exists. Like, why they thought that was a good exotic to come out with. And it wouldn't have been horrible if it wasn't for the fact that it treated the iron sights like a sniper scope and gave you the wobble.
Yeah. But it made it fun to use.
It was a fun joke weapon.
See, and that's one of the things back to the exotics is, like, even though it throws exotics at you, a lot of the new exotics just feel either way too unique to be used for anything other than what its like exact purpose is, or they're just too useless.
I'd say they feel too generic. Now,
Yeah.
honestly, there's not a whole lot of exotic perks, and for most of the exotics that make it worth it over a legendary. Whereas D1, you would sit there and think, you know, you had to like think out your loadout, like, oh, this legendary weapon has this perk on it, but you know, this exotic does this, like I remember Red Death, surprisingly, because usually primary exotics saw no place outside of the Crucible, but in Crota, when you were first learning it, you always had people in the Abyss run Red Death because you couldn't heal in the Abyss, but Red Death could heal you.
Yep.
And same with actual Crota. You'd always have them run one of those weapons, and there was and that was when shotguns and snipers were the only thing in Legendary, so you'd suggest some different shotguns for them. And, it would you build your loadout around these weapons and their different perks. But honestly, I'm not a huge fan of the random perk rolls. I preferred fixed perks for weapons as opposed to random on everything, because it really was able to, because I remember watching videos on like building a perfect loadout for different raids and such, and being able to really maximize your efficiency to do certain things by, like, you pair this exotic with these armor pieces and this raid weapon and stuff like that. That stuff was fun to me to try to figure out and put different combinations together. But now it's so ass bucking wild that it's not really about the gun itself. It's more about the perks. Like, I know because I've gotten 3 Fatebringers now in D2, and I gave 1 to each of my characters. My best Fatebringer's on my Warlock, and my Fatebringer on my Warlock can 3-shot people in the Crucible, but it's tough to even kill in almost 6 shots with my Fatebringer on the Titan, just because of the perk roll.
The perk rolls have become everything.
Yeah, and that
is, quite frankly, the perks are what kill a lot of the exotics in D2. For instance, the 3 beginning ones, you had Sunshot, Risk Runner, and Sweet Business. Sunshot was basically just a hand cannon with a special Firefly. Risk Runner was a bit like one of the late game exotics that they added, but you just needed to proc arc damage first. And then there was Sweet Business, which literally just had a large magazine and better hipfire accuracy. That's not an exotic. That's just a good auto rifle. Why that was an exotic, I don't understand. Or stuff like, what was it? Le Monarch, which is just a thorn bow. There's just exotics in D2 have,
just, to me, not exotics.
They have the most mediocre perks that are so slightly unique from something else that it makes them quote-unquote exotics.
I remember, like, legendaries being the shit. Like, there was, we had strike-specific loot, so that was strike-specific legendaries, which is really awesome. But I remember having, like, the raid weapons from D1 really mattering, like the Vision of Confluence, even though it was at the end of the day just a scout rifle. But not only was it a primary with an elemental ability, and it was solar, so that was pretty good, but it had full auto trigger system, and I don't remember what else it had in D1, but I remember it was pretty good.
Explosive payload and Firefly.
Yeah, explosive payload and Firefly. And that, because that was fixed perks back then. Those weapons had fixed perks. And
because there were only a few perks that would roll, and it was mostly like your barrels and your scopes.
Yeah, those are the only two that would change. Was barrels and scopes for the main raid weapons, if I remember right. Obviously, it's been years for all of us, so we couldn't quite tell you to a T. But then the Fatebringer, everybody really wanted a Fatebringer in D1 Year 1 especially, because that gun was just a fucking tank. It's still in D2 very good. Like, it's my main PvE weapon. Like, it's still very good on its own. It's not even just, not just another hand cannon at this point. It's still pretty good, especially I got a really decent roll on it. I got explosive rounds, and I I can't remember what else, honestly, at the top of my head. But it's still pretty decent, but it was just a fucking monster back in the day because it had explosive payload and Firefly. And that was what people would go for because these weapons had these set perks. And then the exotics would have like those perks, but times 10, and then the exotic perk. So it was just way cooler to get something like that back then. And now it just, honestly, it feels like Destiny 2 has a bad case of here, have a blue ribbon kind of thing, if you know what I mean. You know, you showed up, you tried, here's a reward.
Yeah. Why don't you weigh in on this one, Chris?
I don't think he's here.
Is he not?
No, I am. I'm just kind of here.
Did you Zequil it?
No, I didn't. I thought about it, but I didn't.
Yeah.
You're the one who told me not to.
Yeah, it's probably smart you didn't, especially if you're trying to play later.
Yeah, whatever, dude.
Yeah, Mr. Topher's a little sick. He was sitting there tongue kissing someone.
He's got the cooties.
Yeah, he got cooties from giving someone a big Frencher.
Yeah, dude, for sure. There's a whole lot of bitches I French kiss all the time. Couldn't even tell you who gave it to me.
What a Chad.
So fuck it, we're talking about games. Let's talk about D&D. We all like D&D. I want to talk about D&D.
Strahd is a
Boy,
loser.
let's do that.
Strahd is a pimp.
No, he
I was
smells
about to
bad.
say, I was like, Strahd is listening to you right now. Yeah, be careful.
Strahd doesn't even have cheese.
Strahd has the best cheese. It just
I
might
was
not
about
be.
to say, that's cap as fuck.
Yeah, he has the best. It just might not be made from normal things you make cheese from.
He
Not
might make
from
it out of
cow
children because he's a weirdo. That's why Strahd's not allowed within 500 feet of schools.
He doesn't need to be when he creates them.
That's even worse.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
Back to the Top Gear thing.
whoa,
What?
something happened that I'm not aware of.
No. Jeremy Clarkson filming other children. He's like,
Oh,
you remember that?
that was Grand Tour. Yeah,
Yeah.
when they
Was
were
that
trying
Grand
to.
Tour?
Yeah, that was Grand Tour. They were trying to create energy.
Yeah, I'll have my own field day, sort of thing.
Yeah. They're trying to create green energy to charge the Smugmobile, the G-Wiz. And Hammond did something with dogs. I don't remember quite what he did. May did basically attached all these bicycles to in a gym to basically a generator to collect energy. Oh yeah, Hammond put that freaking rotary on the door and then pulled the fire alarm in a skyscraper. And then Jeremy went and to like a track and field day for kids and sat there and made them do a whole bunch of stuff with like harnesses on them that would pull a generator gear to charge. And the cops showed up because all they saw was like this dude filming a whole bunch of kids that weren't his kids.
With harnesses.
This man in his mid to late 60s.
He's actually only 62.
Is he?
Yeah, he's 62.
Damn.
He looks a lot older than that.
He's a lot younger than he looks.
Yeah, he's been through it, dude. I fucking love Jeremy Clarkson.
He's definitely a lot older than he thinks, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Speed and power.
But I wanted to bring up D&D because I saw this cool set of dice and just made me think about it because I got an email from the DM layer offering a promo code to buy them, and I almost bought them, but I have so much dice, and God forbid if I spend money on these dice and you touch them, Michael, and get like unlimited nat 20s, I'm going to be pissed.
Dice keys.
The dice that I already used that you bought are they've got my magic touch.
That's the thing, though. It doesn't matter what dice you use.
Yeah, you used a different set of dice last time and still rolled like fucking mad.
Well, yeah, because I remember when I rolled like
dude.
2d20, I rolled 2 nat 20s in a row, and you told me to use a different set of dice. I grabbed a different d20 and immediately rolled a nat 20, and you just said, whatever, go back to the old dice.
It's fucking
just-
stupid.
You don't realize I put magnets under the table and roll them that way.
Table rolls more nat 20s
See,
than I've ever seen.
it just doesn't work because these things have they're polyamber. There's zero metallic in them. They're just
He's using
They're
plastic
special
magnets.
Yeah, plastic
Dude, he-
magnets.
yeah. You just oh my god, dude, you fucking drive me nuts.
And you
Dude.
can't get mad because you bought the dice.
I know, and I bought them over a year ago. Like before you even over a year from when you started playing. So these dice are almost actually they're older than that. These dice are almost 3 years old and have been played relentlessly. You'd think the luck would have been rolled out of them, but no, they're not. And this motherfucker doesn't there nat 20, nat 20, doesn't nat 20 hit? And I'm like, you stupid bitch.
At 20 on the dumbest crap there could be.
I know. I'm excited to get back to Strahd. For context to the viewers, we play D&D, and I am the Dungeon Master. Dungeon Daddy for short.
Daddy
And-
Master.
The Daddy Master. And we're starting Curse of Strahd. We tried to get into it in August, but scheduling was a fucking nightmare. So we decided to push it back until everybody was available. And we are actually getting ready to fucking start it finally on the 5th of March. So March. So we're going to be playing. I'm super stoked, but I'm super upset because I still can't get my fucking printer working. My big printer, my FDM printer. Because I wanted to 3D print a full-on tavern and all this stuff. I had so many files ready to fucking print. But this thing has been basically non-printable since the first of the new year. Like, I did all this work to it.
Mazel tov.
Yeah, did all this work to it, rebuilt it, and it's still not working. And I haven't touched it all week because, one, I got food poisoning on Tuesday and felt like shit since. I feel better today. But, and second, I got fucking tired of it. Pissed me off. So now the resin printer is the only printer that I can semi-reliably print on because it likes to fail if I print any model bigger than my thumb. But for mini sets, okay.
Thumbs, idiot.
I have bigger thumbs. I have big-ass fucking thumbs. Your ass should know.
That's beside the point.
You know it's inside the point.
It's,
Oh.
No,
Your
the point is
thumbs.
inside.
What are you saying, Michael?
girthy thumbs.
Girthy thumbs. Yeah. What's more
All
important,
about
girth
the
or length?
of thumbs.
Girth, in my opinion. Mostly because that's all I've got going for me.
I'm not talking about your stomach.
No, I'm talking about myself. I'm just fat and short. I don't get the length bonus there.
Height
I'm a gnome.
bonus.
I'm a dwarf. There you go.
You are a really good depiction of a dwarf. If you could grow a fucking beard, yeah.
Well, I'm trying, but it's not my fault my genetics make me look like a testicle every time I try to grow a beard.
Trust me, I'm right with you. I can't grow full fucking facial hair either. That's why I fucking rock the mutton chops.
Even without facial hair, you look like a testicle. It's just the difference between a hairy one and a smooth one.
Testy man.
Testy man. Yeah, I am an odd looking one.
Yeah.
But honestly, who in our friend group is a good looking one? Let's be real here, folks.
Out of all of us, Brady.
Bro.
I was about to say,
frankly, he's
are you
the
just
one that
saying
looks
this
most like a
so
girl.
because he's listening, he'll drop a like?
Yeah.
Is that
Is that what are you pandering? Are you pandering?
No, but he may or may not have slipped me either $20 or a hand job under the table.
He probably did
I
both.
fucking knew it.
It was probably Michael paid him $20 to give him a hand job. So I've been
I'll pay
thinking
you
about
$20 to
possibly,
let me compliment you.
speaking of under the table hand jobs, I've been thinking
dear.
about trying to record our D&D sessions and figuring out a way to do that, possibly, and trying to do like a D&D podcast type of thing.
I don't think talking about under the table hand jobs and going straight
I know.
into we're
The
going to
segue
record
was
that
Exactly.
is a good
It's
transition.
a perfect segue because I guarantee you every motherfucker's listening. So, okay, what is he going to say? What is he going to say? Yeah, I got you. I
That's
just
like
fucking bamboozled you.
Speaking of the president getting arrested by the Nigerian police, do you guys like D&D? Yeah, I mean, when you say something just outlandish, yeah, you're going to grab attention.
Exactly. So I got what I wanted out of it.
In other news, the Kraken has risen out of the Lego City River.
Hey!
Anyways. Yeah, I was like, but anyways.
But
Speaking of
anyways.
that,
There's a man protesting in Tiananmen Square.
Where?
That's why there's not a Taiwan Lego set.
You think China's going to invade? Now that all the focus is on Russia?
Taiwan. I think they're going to hold off on that for a while.
I don't know. I think they're going to do it while NATO's focused.
Oh, I think for sure China's going to invade Taiwan. But I think they're going to at least wait until the Beijing Olympics are done, because then a lot of the focus will shift.
China.
China.
I'm surprised that just let Russia do this.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so you're going to finish that egg roll.
Here we are.
Shut the fuck up.
China.
Shut up. China.
Jimmy's mom took me to Tiananmen Square. Nothing happened. Just a casual day.
Oh, we're gonna have amazing social credit scores when when the Chinese overlords come to America and force us to eat, I don't know, chow mein or something.
It's not that bad.
No. Except they'll maybe force us to do math problems, but I don't.
Fuck that. Why the fuck would they come here to get math done?
I think out of math problems, I think I'm the only one who stands a chance out of the three of us.
Hey,
Yeah.
if I'm given a calculator and Google, I could try and figure it out.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I thought you were about to actually make an argument, and I was like,
No,
I'm not.
after how you sat through calculus.
I'm not standing on this
The
hill.
whole time.
No.
We're dying on this.
So in math ranking, it's Chris, me, and then Kane.
What? Out of the whole group?
Yes.
No.
What was the highest math class?
Oh, well, out of the whole, like, wait, the three of us or out of everyone we hang out with?
No, I'm like second to last.
Out of everyone we hang out with, it's probably Clark.
Yeah, Clark.
Yeah, no.
Clark's like AP Cal.
Out of the three of us.
Oh, out of the three of us.
Oh, the three of us here? Yeah, I'm dead fucking last.
Yeah.
The point is getting lost.
In that point, it would be Clark, Chris, me, Brady, Aaron, Kane.
Okay, I'm not dead last. I'm above Brady.
Yeah.
Brady's dead last. Hey, Brady, when you listen to this...
It's between Brady and Aaron, honestly.
You are.
It's a good question between those two.
Well, actually, now that I think about it, Aaron would be dead last unless he's counting with apples.
Yeah.
That story is ridiculous.
I bet if you put him in AP Calculus but turned all of the like numbers into apples, he would hate.
Turn the letters into pairs.
Have I told you about how he hates me for physics class?
I'm sure you have multiple times, but I'm not going to be able to stop you this time, so go ahead.
And I'm sure he probably had a good reason. You're kind of an asshole.
Oh, I was very much an asshole. In our physics class, I never really did any of the work. Never turned anything really in. Almost failed it. Passed it at the very end. And every single time, Aaron would get, you know...
Did you stop fucking burping? Jesus Christ. This whole fucking time we just... Holy shit, dude.
Can I continue?
I don't know, can you?
I will try.
I don't know,
But,
can you?
But every single time he would get upset with a problem, I would notice, and I would just look at him, hey, do you want help? And he's like, how are you going to help me? You can't even do your own work. And then I'd explain it to him in terms he could perfectly understand, and then he would look at me and just nothing but rage. because of the fact that I knew exactly what I was talking about, but never did anything about it.
Then why the
Yeah, but
hell did
physics is
you
easy,
almost fail?
Because I didn't
Are
turn
you
in any
just
of the work.
inept?
No. I knew how to do all of it. I just didn't do it. And right at the end of the class, the teacher asked me, he's like, why didn't you do any of this? Like, did you even learn anything? And I literally sat there after school and talked to him for an hour. And he looked at me and he was like, so you know everything in the class, and you just didn't do the work. And I was like, yeah,
You are a fucking
really-
baked potato with legs.
did I pass the class? Yes.
It is a miracle
I was like that.
you
Physics to me is easy though. I don't know what it is about it. It's just easy
And
concept to me.
I'll quote the teacher. At one point, he said, "You just taught me something I didn't know about physics." And the look
That
on
your
his
brain could
face,
survive in that dense of a skull. Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
exactly.
the look on his face of disappointment in me for not doing the work was just amazing.
Yeah, why are you wearing this like a badge?
Yeah.
Because to me, it
It's
is
not really a brag.
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
guys,
what?
yeah, I'm a lazy piece of shit.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I'm like, whoa, you'd make an awful Boy Scout.
Hey, just because I gave the other Boy Scout $20 to carve my soap into a boat shape doesn't mean I'm,
A soap boat.
capitalism works. That's all I'm saying. I would have made it. I would have passed Boy Scouts with flying colors.
You don't just pass. a
You
Boy
don't pass
Scout.
Boy Scouts.
Case in point, you fucking brick.
Dude,
I
you probably
never
would have got. You could actually get kicked out of Boy Scouts for not doing shit. Cub Scouts, you can't. I bet you could have passed Cub Scouts.
Passed.
I forget you were a Boy Scout.
Yeah, I was a Cub Scout and a Boy Scout for a year, and then actual Boy Scouts was fucking retarded. It just got
I have a friend
lame
who's
as
gonna
shit.
Joined the Girl Scouts, right? Because they had cookies. You fat fucking ape.
Cookies and pussy.
Hey, whoa, wait a minute. Wait a
Don't
minute.
include pussy in a conversation
Step
about Girl
the
Scouts.
fuck back.
Hey, you're talking about when I joined, so I would have been the same age.
I don't care. They're still children.
So was I.
That doesn't make it okay.
My Thin Mint was about to get a coconut maraca.
It's okay,
Oh
officer.
my
I'm mentally
God.
the age of a 14-year-old. It doesn't hold up in court. I'm sorry, but I will not be on your side in that court case.
Yes, you will, bitch. I got you on recording. I've heard you say some shit.
We both said some shit.
Dude, our court case will get blown open wider than Epstein's asshole.
Dude, that court case would start with you, and it would devolve into something like bringing down the U.S. government.
It would.
It-
It would.
It'd start with you on some odd charge, and it would end with
Cheese.
being labeled as a domestic terrorist to the United States.
You know, honestly, I bet if our friend group got all pulled to court, it would start with all of you guys, and I would be like the final boss. Like, to be honest, I have said probably the worst shit out of all of us,
It would
just on a
start
whim.
with a parking ticket, and it would end as being locked up for life as a threat to the U.S. government.
to being sent to fucking Guantanamo Bay. They would reopen it just to lock our asses away.
I blew up Malaysia.
Start
I
using
blew up
Alcatraz
Malaysia.
again.
And so they're walking. It's like what makes you a super criminal and not me? Presentation. And then I just walk in with two middle fingers.
The only problem, though, is if we were to go to court, we would know we're screwing up the pooch, so we wouldn't take it seriously.
Yeah, we'd make it so much worse.
What's up, guys?
Just going up to the stand and looking at the judge and go, "Hey, Lois."
Hey, love it.
We would get to court, and one of us would put our feet up on the table and just sit there and be like, "No, I'm not taking him down."
Honestly, your ass would fall asleep. You'd just be sitting there just.
So, Michael, could you tell us what happened on this day?
No.
And that's when you do one of those, you start choking on your own speech, and you just wake up.
The truth and nothing but the truth. No.
Yeah, whatever happens. If I think you get charged for contempt if you say no, because they can't continue. No. But like contempt is like if you go in jail for fucking murder, and like the case is pretty like you're dead to rights, like you're fucked. If you just keep saying no, they can just keep charging you with contempt, and that's like a 2-week bench warrant.
Oh no.
Well, yeah, but I think you'd serve your 2-week bench warrant, and then they would retry you, and so you
and then you just keep saying no, but it just keeps repeating. So like if you can never get to basically you mean either way spending life in prison, but you wouldn't get the death sentence.
Yeah.
Hey, look, every 2 weeks I get to go talk to the judge, have some fun in the courtroom, and then I get to spend my weekends in prison with Jerome.
Well, I think there's always a point, though. If they have you dead to rights enough where, like, they don't even have to question you.
No, yeah.
It's like,
there's a lot more. There's a lot more intricacies than just that. But in a general sense, it's it's a theoretically possible.
That's when you plead insanity.
You know, at that point, I think they take it. It's like this guy shows up every 4 fucking days and says no. And then tells us it's opposite day. Dude, but we can't take that.
The amount of people that would be sitting there just waiting for them to, like, go in to pay a parking ticket or something. and they're, like, waiting. Is it that guy again? And you're just like, you know what? I don't really want to today.
You know, I'm about fucking sick of this place.
That right there. It's like sitting there and holding a conversation at the DMV instead of like getting done.
Hey, how's your day?
And so they just, with a fucking dead glare right into your eyes, just. I was like, Jesus Christ, fine.
Camera, please.
Sir, we're just trying to renew your license. I don't see a ring on that finger.
Dude.
What's your name there? Janet? Hello.
Let's go to the DMV and try to pick up some chicks.
Hey, the DMV
Record
is
our
a good
next
place to have
episode in the
connections.
DMV. Welcome back to this week's Descent of Madness podcast, live from the DMV.
Live from the DMV. Descent in the DMV.
Descent into DMV.
DMV madness. Let's go.
We're just gonna open the podcast with today's special guest star, this random lady named whatever her name is from the DMV.
Her political opinions are so far right, it would make you wonder if she even knows what the word left is. And then you have Clarice on the other side. Her opinions are so far left, you can literally smell the stick up her ass.
Well, let's put them in a cage match and see who
Oh boy, we turned it political.
Dude, can you imagine a DMV cage fight?
Oh, it would be amazing, but it would take way too long to finish.
It'd be like fucking 7 hours to get started, but once it got going, it would be over in like 2 minutes. So it'd be about 7 hours of waiting for about a 2-minute knockout.
I love
7 hours of waiting for them to just get in the ring and hug.
See, the DMV.
We've come to an equal conclusion that we both love each other and agree to disagree. Then the ref comes and fucking RKOs them both.
Simultaneously.
See, the DMV is a magical place because it's where you can see the absolute most human suffering outside of a gulag.
See, I went to the DMV to get when I turned 18, I had to get my actual adult license because I got my driver's license when I turned 16, so it expired when I turned 18. Right. And I actually have to go back when I turn 21 because my license also expires when I turn 21. Well, when I went there, I had to wait, and Brady was with me, actually. He came with me. I don't remember why, but he did. But, yeah, so we sat there waiting for about 2 hours, and I had to take a fucking shit. And I walked in there, and some guy looked at me, and he goes, "Hey, buddy, that toilet's a little broke." And I'm like, "What?" He's like, I'm like, "Okay, can I just, what's wrong with it?" He's like, "It don't flush." And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he looks at me, looks back in the bathroom. He's like, go find out. And he walked away. And he was the only person I saw because we were sitting in these chairs right next to the bathroom. The only person I saw going in and out of that bathroom for about the last 2 hours. And that toilet was filled to the fucking seat with shit. I'm like, holy hell. I mean, these were like the industrial size fucking toilets. That was just
issue.
Yeah, government issue fucking toilets that was just filled to the fucking brim with human shit. And he was just so nonchalant about it. Hey, buddy, I wouldn't go in there. I'm just like, oh my God. Like, go fucking tell someone. He just left after that. I think he was there to take a shit. He took a fucking shit and left.
Dude, he has been at P.F. Chang's for like 7 weeks straight, and he just went to the DMV to unload all of it.
Oh, we lost Chris. Oh, he's back. The shit story was too much.
Dude, I have no idea what happened.
Figured he couldn't handle the shit story.
I just crashed in the middle of it.
Just, hey, booty.
You know, I bet that's a
no idea what
weekly
happened.
occurrence, and he just like comes back with like a different haircut every week, so they can't tell it's him.
Yeah, he shows up once a week. He's like, "Oh, hello, I'm here to get my license. I'm from not United States. Can I use bathroom first?"
And, God, I feel like he has a personal goal
I
to
am
fill
from
all
not
of them up
United
in the
States.
same trip to the DMV.
Yeah, and then I'm pretty sure, I could be making this up, but for some reason I remember it this way. The women's bathroom was out of order, so they were making the women use the men's bathroom.
Oh,
And I feel so bad for them to go in there and see that fucking heinous fucking meboid living in that stall. Like, that was a creature. And it's just like, you walk in there and it's like, roll for initiative. It's just, holy shit.
Roll for
I was reading something the other day. A girl had posted her story, or a woman rather, had posted her story that she accidentally went into the men's room and opened up a pad in the stall. And apparently the guy in the stall next to her said, "Why do you have snacks in here? This is going to be one hell of a shit."
That doesn't shock me.
No, dude, that's
Like-
great.
Oh, that's... If you're bringing snacks in here, good luck.
Dude, like, holy fuck. I will still, my favorite story from fucking Boy State still is my favorite one to tell. I think I've told it on the podcast yet. So I know you guys have heard this, but when I was sitting there and taking a fucking shit, and that was in our barracks, had these bathrooms that were assigned to us that had half stalls but no doors for the toilets, like walls but no doors. And I always went to the one on the far end because that way you just had a wall to your left in only case someone else could be right next to you. And all of a sudden I hear this guy, he comes running in, and it's fucking echoey because these are like, you know, these were, those barracks you're staying were Vietnam era barracks. So like think FMJ, Full Metal Jacket. Those were the barracks we were staying in. And so yeah. I'm sitting there in this fucking bathroom trying to go to the bathroom. I hear this kid go, boo, boo, boo. Oh, God. Oh, fuck. And he's running all the way down. And he sits in the stall next to me because he was going to come to mine, obviously having the same idea, and sat in the one right next to me. And he sits down and goes, and like right after that, and I'm like, okay. I'm sitting there trying not to laugh too hard. And he goes, "Hey, man, how you doing?" I'm like, "I'm all right. How about yourself?" He's like, "Hey, you ever have those shits where you just feel like you're going to absolutely fill the top of your britches, but you come and sit down and it's just a fart?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, that just happened to me. Have a good day." Gets up and walks away. That was so fucking laughed so fucking hard.
Oh, that reminds me. Back when I lived in Ridgeview, I used to go to the North YMCA.
That was your first problem.
IMCA.
Now, there's this one kid that would eat inordinate amounts of food that his like mother would make him. And I shit you not, he brought in a full bowl of spaghetti that day. Ate the entire thing. And then we went swimming that day. Well, I had to go to the bathroom. I'm not one to piss in the pool. So I went into the locker room and into the bathroom. Well, I was in there by myself, and I hear footsteps come in, and I see the stall next to me open. And it wasn't until I looked down to see, like, the feet to, like, see what was happening that I smelled it. It was the kid that ate the spaghetti. And I shit you not, he dropped his swim trunks, and there, right in the middle, was a pile just on the floor. And I remember, I went back out, and I went to one of the teachers, and I said, "We're not swimming anymore, are we?" And she said, "How do you know?" And I was like, "I saw the evidence."
I saw the evidence.
That pool was done for. They had to. They had to drain the pool.
Yeah, oh, you have to.
I still remember the kid's name. It was just this little fat kid. And like we all told him, like, you need to wait until you go to the bathroom before you get in that pool, and he didn't. And
just shit himself.
Pile.
How do you just shit yourself though? Like, unless you have like explosive diarrhea, how the fuck do you just shit yourself?
My question is, how do you shit out a literal mountain? And it doesn't on your way to the bathroom. How does it not fall out of your pant leg?
Well, okay. So when I was about 6 years old,
like, did he crab crawl to the bathroom?
Dude, okay. So there is like, when you're fat, you have this like certain ability to like, because you have such a rumpus ass, to just be able to hold shit. And like, I remember I remember so vividly too, being in, I almost said sixth grade. There's a huge difference between sixth grade and 6 years old. I was 6 years old. And yeah, and we were playing on this swing set that we used to have, and it was with my childhood friend Garrett, and and I remember sat there, I'm like, well, I got a fart, and I farted. It was a big ass fart too. It was hilarious. I mean, good laughs. And I sat there and I climbed up, and all of a sudden I felt like, you ever like played flag football in junior high, and like the belt couldn't quite be tight enough, but like, so you felt something like half tugging on the back of your pants. So that's what I felt, but it jiggled. So I'm like, something ain't right. So I walked. I'm like, I'll be right back. I gotta pee. And I was like, so I walked this whole time, and I felt this thing bouncing up and down in my fucking britches. And walked into the bathroom, and there was this perfect round fucking heap of shit in my pants.
The bouncing in your pants probably molded it into like the perfect shape.
Dude, it was so funny. And like, I so vividly remember this because I thought it was funny then too. Like, oh, I farted, but I shit. It's just
a lot of farted.
I've done the same, and it was because I was trying to crop dust my sister.
Dude, that's the worst. When you try to get someone, but you end up just shitting yourself.
It was even worse. It was even worse because we were in a beauty store. Because I was out with my mom and my sister, and I remember I was bored, and I saw my sister standing there, and I was like, I planned it perfectly. I walked right past her, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna fart. And then I felt it, and I was like, that's not a fart, that's not a fart. And I darted to the bathroom. I shit myself right in the middle of the store. It was even funny because I came back out to my sister, and she's like, why did you dart? And I was like, well, I tried to fart on you, but I shit myself.
Is that one of those ones where you're like, my underwear's now in the store's bathroom trash can?
No, I just used up like an entire roll of toilet paper to layer it and basically made myself a diaper.
Dude, I bet you fucking reeked. Oh my god, I bet you were fucking awful to be around. But if you kept that fucking underwear, dude.
No, it was gone. Thank goodness we were in the beauty store because I could just spray perfume on my crotch and leave it there.
Oh.
Fucking nasty.
All right, Chris, tell us a story. You've had to shit yourself once. Out of 20 years of life, you've had to fill them britches.
Nothing I can remember, actually.
Your time will come. It happens to the best
My time
of us.
hasn't come yet.
Honestly, I've shit myself as recently as 2019. It was after the Del Richo, and all I had to eat was pretty thawed out raw chicken for 4 days from having no power. And finally, I remember, and the worst part was I remember it was the day we got power back, and so it was just me and my ex-girlfriend there. And I was like, you know what? We got power. I'm going to make some fucking pancakes and eggs for breakfast because my work didn't have power. So he said, just take the rest of the week. You know, we'll get this figured out. Come back on Monday. You guys get a free 2-day vacation because I'm like, well, I have power. And he's like, well, we don't have power down here. So go ahead and take an extra 2 days, on me. So I remember it so vividly, and it was one of those things. It wasn't even like a fart coming up. I just couldn't do anything about it. It was like basically someone took in my asshole a paintbrush and painted the tip with shit and reached out of my asshole and just went to my underwear and just went on my underwear. And like, because it was one of those things where you feel like a massive shit coming and you can feel it like rushing through. So I clenched my asshole to even stop it, but I couldn't. It was too late. So I sat there and I just walked into the bathroom discreetly. And my ex-girlfriend still doesn't know, unless she for some reason listens to this because she's a crazy fucking bitch. But I went into the bathroom, took off my underwear, put it in the bathroom trash can, tied up the bag because it needed taken out anyway, and throw it away. No one was in the wiser.
Oh my God.
I will tell you this story. The YMCA's around here are where a lot of my weird stories come from.
Yeah, it's like, is this another Y story?
It is. This time it was at the West Y.
YMCA.
It was during the summer. I was going to go swimming at the pool with one of my friends. So we went to the pool, and when we got there in the locker room, there was a female staff member helping two young boys because someone had stolen their phone. Well, I was friends with this staff member. She knew me from the after-school program and the summer program, so we were good friends. Now, she jokingly told this kid that I stole his phone, and he got pissed at me, and we were explaining, like, no, I literally just got here. I couldn't have stolen your phone. Well, so I ignored him, changed in my trunks, and went swimming. Well, when I came back, of all the things that I had on my person that day that went missing from that locker, my dirty underwear was what was missing.
What?
Yes, this kid that thought I stole his smartphone stole my dirty, used underwear. Why?
Take that
I still don't know. No, I'm
I don't know
not
why I
sure.
thought this was going to be another shit story, to be honest. I was kind of looking forward to another shit story.
So I had to go out to the staff member. I was like, hey, did that kid leave? And she was like, yeah. I was like, did he find his phone? She said no. And I was like, well, he stole my underwear. So I had to ride home.
What a
commando.
What a fucking statement, though. Yeah, well, he stole my underwear. That's like, what the shit?
The fact
Now, imagine being the staff member. Like, what do you do? There's nothing you can do, but what do you do?
She was confused. She laughed and she was
hold in the laughter.
I thought it was funny too, because I had my phone, I had my wallet in there, and of all the things to steal, my dirty, smelly, stinky, farted in underwear.
Stinky.
Had to add. Shut up. Shut your fucking mouth.
Stinky.
I swear to fucking God, dude.
Of all the things to steal from
that's fucking wild.
It's the
I
weirdest
cannot
one.
just to get back at you is like, haha, underwear are mine now.
Yeah,
that
like,
is
You just
so
really like
weird.
the design on them.
that's not a trophy of any
He liked
kind.
the smell.
I guess
It was a trophy
I mean-
pig.
you two can attest to it. My farts don't smell good.
Let me get a refresher on that. Put it in a jar and bring it.
I'll mail it to you.
Please do.
There might be some brown dust.
He doesn't
in
get
there,
mail
too.
at his apartment. You can't.
Yeah, it'll just come back to you. Oh, we sent one back. Oh, it's just me. Damn it. Cast
Imagine
yourself.
it shows up to your parents' house and your dad opens the fucking envelope.
Gonna find my brown air.
You know, it'd be fucking awful if you went and like got a piece of dog shit, put it in an envelope, and fucking mailed it to someone.
Yeah,
Like
that's
that would.
I bet that gets caught in the mail system somewhere, right? Because it would just reek so bad.
I don't know. You see the
feel like
fucking
there's-
mail system. They really don't give two shits about your own fucking package anyway.
No, but I feel like there's a point where, like, if it smells that bad, they're gonna like try to turn it into the police because they shipped a bomb or something. Afraid it's like a bottle of anthrax.
Either
Yeah, see,
way, it's
that's
fucking
one way
hilarious.
It's one way to teach the mail system to treat your packages with more care. If you send them a glass jar with
Yeah,
anthrax in
they
it,
just like slam it in the back of their
I
truck,
can
and it
guarantee
just
you,
fucking
you won't
pops.
be throwing my fucking packages around anymore.
Yeah, that guy will take superb packages if he lives.
If he lives.
Well, isn't anthrax like it has like a 2-day incubation period that you have like to get taken care of, and if you don't, it'll just kill you at that point. Like that's when the
will
symptoms start, and you just die if you don't get it taken care of in that like 2 days.
No,
I don't know,
you
because
will
I'm not a
just straight up
psychopath,
die.
and I've never poisoned somebody with anthrax, so I have no idea.
Well, we've all read about anthrax. It was in history class.
I have never actually. I have no idea. All I know is anthrax is like a white powder, typically, and that's it. And that it fucking kills whoever breathes it in.
Can
That's
be. It's
about
a
it.
viral. It's viral.
That's all I know about anthrax. Actually, that's it. I know it's used to poison people,
Oh,
and it's a white powder.
you saying it's a white powder give me an idea.
Oh, good God.
Oh dear God!
Mexican drug cartels. If you just replaced
What?
one of the bricks of cocaine with anthrax,
Just that's awful.
Walter White it. This is not meth. It just
It's not meth, and then just fucking.
these. Oh, cocaine, and then
Just, yeah, just
done.
Dead.
Out. God.
what you put in my shit, Holmes?
I put shit.
Shit.
Shit. Well, we've been going for almost an hour and a half, so I think this is a good stopping point on anthrax and Mexican drug cartels.
Yeah, we went from Destiny to the DMV to shit to anthrax.
And don't forget Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh right, yeah. The
It
Chuck E. Cheese
started
is
with
somewhere.
Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh yeah, it started with Chuck E. Cheese.
And that's why we call it the descent
How
into madness.
Fuck. Oh my God.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you all enjoyed, leave a like, comment, subscribe to come back for more. Release
Oh,
every Wednesday. Usually try to hit about noon, and we record a week ahead of time, so we can usually get
Central Standard Time. What?
Central Standard Time is the best kind of time.